There's a Christian prayer called the Our Father, which has the words, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." We view the sky as the connection to that principle of eternity, that the idea of something transcendent in our lives. To see the skies, the universe itself, threatened with the prospect of nuclear warfare in the heavens. It is psychologically challenging and spiritually punishing. And it seems as though the projection of fear, of the instrumentalities of violence into outer space is a threat to all of the aspirations which all of us have, not only in this country, but on the planet.
The idea of outer space as a peaceful sanctuary may be rooted in our spiritual beliefs, or in the simple pleasure of gazing at the night sky. It is also expressed in the numerous international treaties which set the ground rules for the use of outer space. Since the beginning of the space age, the world community has called upon its members to check their differences at the edge of the Earth's atmosphere. The Outer Space Treaty, adopted in the United Nations in 1967, declared outer space to be the province of all mankind, open to all nations and not subject to ownership by any country.
Outer space covers each and every country. It doesn't belong to one particular country. Outer space is the common property of mankind.
Space has become a forum for unprecedented international cooperation. As American and Soviet leaders squared off on the Earth below, military officers from the two countries met and worked together in outer space. Today, 16 nations are collaborating in building the International Space Station, a giant orbiting laboratory. International cooperation in space is more than just positive symbolism. It is a practical necessity. With so much activity in outer space, space launches and satellite deployments have to be carefully planned to avoid damaging other spacecraft.
Well, it's evidently the case that space is a very large place, humanity is small, and there have been an awful lot of opportunities for a small humanity to cooperate in engaging the very large cosmos. There are a number of international organizations that deal with coordinating communication satellites. Really, you wouldn't be able to do international communications without international cooperation to make sure that the satellites didn't interfere with each other.
Commercial and government satellites are protected by a number of treaties, and interference with them is strictly forbidden.
Why should we shoot down satellites? If they are for weather forecasting, telecommunication, we all rely on them. There's no need to shoot them down. Why should we shoot them down?
Even the use of spy satellites is protected as a way to build trust and reduce tensions between world powers. But because of their increasing military value, a gentleman's agreement to leave satellites alone is not enough to satisfy some of America's leaders.
Colin Powell used to say, you can't deal with what somebody's motives are. You have to deal with what somebody's capabilities are. And so as a member of the Armed Services Committee, I need to understand and be prepared to react to the capability of another nation to inflict damage on us, not the motives.
As military targets, satellites remain both attractive and vulnerable. And in a world of constant political change, Senator Smith is reluctant to rely on the protocols of another era.
Regretfully, we have people and nations in the world who do not have positive designs on the United States of America. And I think we have terrorist nations. So the point is, with these treaties, I believe that we cannot sit back and say, everything's going to be fine, nobody's going to exploit space in a way that could bring harm upon the United States or, frankly, any other nation in the world. I don't think we can say that.
The situation, I will be honest with you, the situation is just opposite. It is a situation in which other countries will feel somewhat threatened by a very ambitious strategic plan to develop military space capability by the United States.
According to Yafei, it is the United States' plans for space control which threaten the sanctity of outer space and the balance of power on Earth. If the United States deploys space weapons, other powers will feel compelled to respond.
As I said, security is relative. If you want to increase your security, which is absolute security, at the expense of other people's security, saying I have to deploy more weapons in order to prevent or protect my own assets, which in a way will be very threatening to others, the result will be an arms race. Other people will be forced to be engaged in an arms race.